Now after meeting Kinky, like, what happened after that? Like how did it go? Like meeting Jeezy, what happened right after?
The crazy thing about that, when I met with Kinky, I didn't really know how they business was structured, but I'm knowing from the music that Kinky is the co-CEO, them the two CEOs. So I'm knowing before they sign off and do what they gonna do, I got to get the blessing from the other guy. So I'm thinking it's already set because the play is set by Akon.
Yeah.
And Tony already like, man, we gone. It's CTE, we gone, we out of here. So I'm like, okay, I already know I got the plan on at the meeting with Kinky. He's like, man, you gonna do a mixtape, we're gonna get your album together and we gonna shop it. You know what I mean? We having some contract dealings with Def Jam, because that's the subsidiary company.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's who's gonna give up the big budget. So we don't know if we want to take you to Atlantic or an Interscope or Def Jam. I'm thinking Def Jam because that's my dream label.
Yeah.
So I'm not knowing Kinky and Jeezy is having some eternal beef. So when I met Jeezy, it really wasn't what I thought it was gonna be. You know what I'm saying? I was the first artist that Kinky brought along. All the other CT artists came from Jeezy. So I already knew Rocket from the BMF thing. You know what I mean? I was real plugged with BMF through CT from here. He was signed to BMF. So I already knew Rocket, already knew a couple of the cats that was on the label. And he was already telling me, like, bro, don't do it. Like, we on our way up out of here. Like, things rough. So, but I'm thinking about the city. Like, this a good move. I don't want to, you know what I mean? I don't really want to blow this. I don't really
come every day.
Yeah, but Kinky not really telling me that it's drama. I'm thinking it's all good.
Right.
Like, things gonna work itself out. Maybe he thought they was gonna work themselves out. So I got caught in the middle of that. You know what I mean? So I did everything I had to do. I dropped a mixtape. Mixtape did 10,000 copies, because back then wasn't no streamings. So you had to get this pressed up.
Right.
So I moved 10,000 units within the first 3 weeks. Like, that wasn't nothing. They was on it. And I could have we had a bidding war. The two hottest cats at that time was me and Meek. Meek was over there with T.I. at the time, if you remember.
Grand Hustle, I remember that.
You know what I'm saying? So I remember came with Rick Ross at the time, but I wanted to be with Jeezy. You know what I mean? But that wasn't the best decision for me. You know what I mean? Obviously, after what happened. So now I'm told to be quiet about a lot of this stuff that's going on. So when I get back home, everybody want to know. They worried about the little stuff. Where the CTE chain at? I'm like, man, I got this big old $50,000 Wendy's chain on that represent us.
I like,
You know what I'm saying? They want to know where the Bentley's at, where this and this and that. You got to earn that stuff. You know what I mean? So I dealt with that. You know, a lot of cats didn't want to believe it. They thought I was lying. Reggie Brown introduced it on the label, on the radio, everything. But cats didn't really want to believe it because you needed that. What I needed was Jeezy to give me that bigger cosign, and he wasn't gonna give me that because I was Kink Man. So that kind of spoiled everything, you know what I'm saying? So when I shot the Yeah OK video, if you go watch that video now, it say Court Records. It don't say CTE. And that was because we was on our way out. So now I'm following protocol of what my management telling me to do. You know what I'm saying? So I got caught up in that. But shout out to Kinky for the opportunity. That was big. And right after that, Tone was finna fall back because he got offered the Def Jam South president position. But he ended up turning it down, and Khaled ended up taking it.
Oh, wow.
And Khaled was one of my biggest supporters, you know what I mean? So it was just weird. I got caught in that time where things was just, they was trying to figure out how to, back then I didn't really know what was going on, but the business was so big that they was trying to figure out how to mold a cat from Milwaukee, you know what I mean? Because we got so much flavor and they ain't really know how to do it. I ain't know I was coming in stepping on a lot of cats' toes because at that time, Tony Neal was so influential. He was the biggest DJ that was going. So I was coming in stepping on a lot of cats' toes, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I was also bagging it up, and I was also cool as hell. Your average Milwaukee cat that got flavor, so they really couldn't hate on it. They was just hoping that the ball just stopped bouncing. You know what I mean? Right. And I kept dribbling, but they was just hoping that the ball stopped bouncing. I kept on hitting them up they side of their head again and again and again until, you know what I mean, things just kind of slowed down.
Right, and then is that when, like after that, like, what happened after that? Like, because I was going to ask about, like, when that didn't go through, like, where it was on the outs, like, the Jeezy deal and everything, where did you go then? Was you back
after that, things got a little scarish. I remember Tone calling me like Miss Deb want to manage me. If you all don't know who Miss Deb is, that's Waka Mama.
Yeah, shout out her.
So at that time, while I'm with CTE, I'm living in Atlanta for like 3 months. So I'm down there. This cat's getting stabbed up. like on the label, like it's real life So Icy CTE Wars. We used to meet up in the parking lot of the CTE office, and everybody just throw on like all black and just roll out. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, I done left the Capitol and got them to some real gang shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm right stuck in the middle of this shit again. You know what I'm saying?
What was that like, being in the height of that beef?
It was crazy because you inherit it. You know, you got to ride. You got to ride. You know what I mean? That's when I knew, like, man, this shit ain't nothing but the streets. You know what I mean? It's the early part of the streets. You know what I'm saying? I'm with the two trap guys, Jeezy and Gucci. They going at it. You know what I'm saying? And I end up bumping into Gucci probably a couple months later, and I got the chain on, and he looking like, man, dog. You know, they was tripping off the Wendy's chain. And that's another reason I got a lot of attention too off that chain. They wanted to know, man, what you doing with a Wendy's? You know what I mean? That represent. You know what that represents.